Welcome back to part God knows what of our Mark II Focus RS restoration project. And this next job was Ash's idea and I still think it's a stupid one. And that's because it means I've got to get my hands dirty. In the previous video we removed the front and rear subframe and we've been left with this absolute mess. And it's my job today to see if I can sort this out. And up until a couple of days ago I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I've done a bit of research, I think I've bought the right tools. We're just gonna have to learn together. Now when I say the right tools, I mean a face mask, some goggles, and some of these. I wasn't looking forward to this job at all, and it didn't take me long to start whinging about it either. Looks like I've been down the mines, man. What a horrible job. I'm covered. Look at this. Absolutely disgusting. Hey, a bit of dirt doesn't stop a professional like me. I soldier on, try and get as much rust off as I can until I got bored and wanted to tell you this. Let me just take a minute away from the graft and show you what parts we've got coming up for the Focus RS. First things first, COMLINE have very kindly sent us out a few bits. Let's have a look, see what we've got. We've got some trailing arm bushes and we've got some track rod ends. Massively impressed with the quality of the parts from COMLINE. It's just a shame they couldn't have sent me somebody to help with this horrible job instead. Now COMLINE has roots going back over 30 years and the brand in its current guise has been in the market since 2008. COMLINE steering and suspension parts are manufactured here in Europe and they're available at all good motor factors and car parts specialists. Now COMLINE is proudly aftermarket with an ethos of supplying genuinely high quality parts whilst remaining affordable. Hats off to you guys who do this for a living. That black underseal was an absolute nightmare to get off. All I can say is if you're going to attempt this at home, make sure you've got a decent set of goggles, mask and a bloody good hoover. Now it doesn't matter if you've got a European car, Japanese car, Korean car, light commercial vehicle, they'll have you covered. Specialising in filtration, braking, steering and suspension, as well as wheel hubs, bearings and water pumps. There's a 3-year 36,000 mile warranty on their steering and suspension parts. So thank you very much to COMLINE, Real World Performance. I'll put the links to their Instagram and their Facebook in the description box below. Make sure you check them out. They post daily and run competitions all the time. So not only have we got the parts very kindly supplied to us by COMLINE, we've also had some bits powder coated, including these trailing arms, these petrol tank straps and this cross member. Not only that, we found out this CV boot was leaking, so we bought a new one of them too. Not to mention these horrendously expensive front anti-roll bar links. There are aftermarket suppliers of these, but I could not find any in stock anywhere. So £120 each later, we've got some and then found out they're made by TRW. And for those of you who don't know, TRW are commonly known for making OEM and aftermarket braking components. So luckily the chassis leg seems pretty solid and the rest of the wheel arch seems okay. I mean, these edges here aren't the best. So I come in, do the hard work, and then Lou comes and stabs it with a screwdriver. What we saying here, mate?
You can see the difference, right? I'm hitting this with some force, but you'll see that bit, it's going through. That bit's fine, but this bit isn't. So it's important that we've got good metal to weld to.
So there seems to be two major bits either side. There's this little bit here and there's also this bit here in the sill. This is exactly the same the other side as well. Over to the driver's side, you can see it's exactly the same triangle spot there. Worryingly, there is a hole in the chassis leg, but the metal around it seems to be nice and solid. And also there, exactly the same spot. Over to Lou now to chop out the bad bits. Back over to me to continue the donkey work on this rear wheel arch. Them grinding discs I bought are absolutely mint. Just a shame they don't last very long. Although I'm getting absolutely covered and putting a good shift in, the hard work is starting to pay off now. Once I'd finished the wheel arches, it was onto the underside of the car and the inside of these chassis legs. They were a bit of a mess, to be honest. Looking around, the metal is, well, it's solid at least. And while I've been poking around under here, I think I've found my rear parking sensor issue. Unfortunately, I don't have time for that now. That's a job for another day. Now, both wheel arches are pretty much rust-free. Over to Lou to weld them back up. For those who may be wondering, this has a C20 LET engine in it, turbo. It's about 230 horsepower, I think, but it's absolutely mint. One thing's for definite, it's in better condition than this. a bit of a break away from welding and having to sort out dodgy Focus RS's, we're in the Astra GTE that's been on the ramp for years, so we're finally out and cocking about in it. Is your mate going to be alright with this? Man of many words. This is mint, this. I want one. Trust the brakes then.
I don't know, first half pressed them really.
That's it, I'm sold, I want one. Enough cocking about, back to the welding. This piece right here is going to be patching up our chassis leg. Looking better than brand new condition. We're just going to work back the welds round the edge, knead it up, smooth it off. Perfect. Chassis leg sorted, big job on now to get the rest of these wheel arches boxed off. Onto the near side sill first, and this was a bit fiddly because the side skirt was in the way. I tell you, even if I could weld, I couldn't do this job. I just do not have the patience. We're risking a car fire quite a lot here, so I'm going to jump in the boot and get this carpet out of the way.
Oh, fuck off.
Tripped. Hey, pro welder, you said?
I did say that.
You did. I've got me wet rags. Tell me when.
Welding now, man.
I can see. Oh my god. That's coming in a lot. This is terrifying. Oh, that's hot. Go on. Oh, I burnt my thumb.
Oh.
Get yourself a missus who brings you 20 nuggets whilst you're in the back of the Focus on Firewatch. Hey, right, let me know in the comments, what sauce do you get with your nuggets? Gotta be barbecue, right? Poor Lou is regretting his decision about saying he would help us with our projects now, aren't you, mate?
I only came here to make an exhaust for a Yaris.
And that's what happens when you've been selling cars for so long, you just baffle them with bollocks and they come and help you out. Just gonna get this last little bit of the sill done. Both sides are nicely patched up now. Time to grind them back, tidy them up and treat the metal. So unfortunately Lou is welding with a poorly welder. It keeps conking out. We've run out of gas, but the patches are looking good. Ash refuses to be any part of the back end of this car apart from putting the subframes back together, so I'm going to leave him to it. We have absolutely no choice with this. The back end of this car is not great. We've replaced the bits of metal that had completely gone. I'm going to treat the metal that's on its way and hope for the best. Now if I left Ash, he'd want to do a full nut and bolt restoration on this car, and at 146,500 miles, it just isn't the right car to do it with. So a quick jet wash of that grubby steering rack using Wax and Away's tar and glue remover, and we were ready to go. That's the underside of the car treated, just waiting for Ash to pull his finger out now. Ash won't thank me for telling you this, but that steering rack had been on and off a few times. First time was because he couldn't get to the bolts for the anti-roll bar. Second time I think was something to do with the pipe for the power steering. And the third time, God knows what, but he was losing his mind by the end of it. You old timers, you'll know that I had a good whinge about the price of bolts for the Seat Leon Cupra. Well, that Focus is no different. That bag of bolts, nearly 70 quid's worth in there, and there ain't many. So now Ash has built up this front subframe a little bit. I'll tell you about a few more of the parts that are now attached to this. So we've got brand new genuine inner tie rods and the track rod ends from COMLINE, as well as brand new Powerflex anti-roll bar bushes. I also managed to find some aftermarket wishbones, and I think they worked out at about 200 quid instead of the 800 odd pound Ford wanted. Now just in case you're wondering why those stupidly expensive anti-roll bar joints are being replaced, well, that's why. They're knackered. But they're not like any normal joint which just unbolts out from the top and bottom. These are pressed into these hubs. And I'm sure most of you know, but the odd few that don't, the Focus RS uses a Revo knuckle, however you pronounce it. Don't worry, I'm not going to try and explain to you how these work, just Google it. But whilst we were trying to take this off, we found another issue. And that other issue is this. I don't think anyone needs my level of certification to know that's broke. Now I did panic when I saw a brand new one of these online and the price of it. You're getting no change out of £1,000. But luckily I found a company who supplies replacement bearings for in here and in the bottom half, I think. So that, for 80 quid, is of course what we're going to go for. For every minute this spends on my ramp, it's just costing more and more money. Please send help. But by the time we're done, she won't be perfect, but she will have plenty more miles left in her. I really do hope you've enjoyed today's video. Absolutely loads of hard work's gone into this, mainly by me. I suppose Ash and Lou were here for a bit of it. But in the next video, we'll hopefully have everything back together, the underside of the car painted, and we'll get out on the road. And for all of its obvious faults, this car drove so well already, so I'm so excited to see how it drives once it's back together. But I mean, if we do go on form, chances are I have absolutely ruined it. But that's okay now, because I can blame Ash. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do make sure you've hit the subscribe button, you've hit the bell, you've liked, and you've shared it to all your mates. I'll catch you on the next one.